Congratulations. This is going to be a very big case for you.
I always dreaded going up against you.
You were a good prosecutor. And I even respected you back then.
Why, I whipped you 9 times out of 10.
Most of the people I represent are guilty. I just give them fairness. I mean, I'm in for the dollar as much as the next guy. I just gotta feel right about getting it. So when I'm there, I can live with myself.
What happens to the ones you miss, the ones that get away?
You were a prosecutor for too long.
No, Fishy. I'm telling you, the law has limitations.
God has limitations.
Well, you can keep your faith.
Look, our job, the thing we do to earn our living with, it's not to be judge or jury. It's to uphold the laws. So when we go home, we can live with ourselves.
You live by that?
You do also. You just choose to avoid it. A form of self-defense or self-preservation.
Mr. Norbert Clare was killed by a wound to the chest, the result of a shot by a .357 Magnum. He was probably swimming when he was surprised by the pond.
Approximately how much did Mr. Clare weigh?
At the time of death, he was about 160 pounds.
Could you personally lift him up and carry him, say, all the way to the pond?
No.
What if he was killed in the studio and then put in the pond?
Well, there would have been some bruises or other marks on the body.
What if he was carried?
No blood was found anywhere else in the house.
Wrapped and cleaned, then carried. If only one shot was fired, it would have been an easy mess to clean up.
I suppose it's possible.
What if her husband was killed somewhere else and then moved to the pond? In your opinion, would it be an impossible feat for a woman of Mrs. Clare's size to do?
I guess.
No further questions.
No questions. Monsieur Claude Martin, you were in the employment of Norbert Clare, were you not?
Yes, I was in charge of operation for his trucking and cement company.
Did he ever discuss personal matters with you, namely his wife?
Yes, on occasion.
Did he discuss his marriage with you?
He was convinced she was having an affair. He was in a process of proving it so he could file for divorce.
When he mentioned divorce, did he say when he was planning to do this? Did he give you a time frame? So, according to the prenuptial agreement, Mrs. Clare would have received a relatively small sum had her husband divorced her. Now, you are the executor of the will.
Yes.
Who are the beneficiaries?
Mrs. Jane Clare is the sole beneficiary.
I see. Isn't that a rather unusual prenuptial agreement?
Well, Mr. Clare didn't care what happened to his money after he died, so it was a concession for Mrs. Clare for agreeing to the terms.
And what is the total value of the estate?
About 20 million.
20 million. So, in other words, Mrs. Clare had very little to gain by divorcing her husband, but everything to gain by killing him.
Objection.
Sustained. The jury will disregard Mr. Saint Laurent's statement. It will be stricken from the record. We'll resume tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.
Something's wrong. Someone knows about us. Someone was in my apartment.
going crazy.
Okay. Okay. I can't help you bow your heart like this. I can't.
I can't help it.
You can. You can help it. Okay, hey, hey, hey. Relax. Okay. Take a deep breath. Hey, look at those ears.
Mr. Biles, you are positive that Jane Clare is the same woman to whom you sold an illegal .357 Magnum handgun?
Oh, yeah, she even got me to scratch the serial number out.
No more questions.
Mr. Garfield.
You got quite a record. 10 drug charges, selling, possession, 1 grand theft auto.
I was never prosecuted on that charge.
Sorry. And now you're saying that this woman drove to Ottawa to buy a gun from you.
That's right.
Weren't you recently picked up on a possession charge? Crack?
How did he know that?
I have no idea.
Objection, Your Lordship. The witness was never prosecuted.
Overruled.
Will you offer leniency in exchange for your testimony?
Objection! The right situation is also necessary for a murder to be perfect. Here we have a shadowy figure named Anthony Fabrizi, a greedy employee of Nobby Clare named Claude Martin, and a gun dealer named Biles. Hence, the perfect murder is easy. So Andrew says maybe he was killed in the house and then put in the pond.
But Miyoka answers there would have been some bruises or other marks on the body.
Andrew says, what if he was carried? Now, this is where Miyoka really lost it.
What do you make of it?
He either knows something we don't, or he's got quite an imagination.
I don't think he swayed the jury.
That doesn't concern me. What concerns me is that when Martin mentions the amount of the estate, he reacts to her.
I think you're reaching, Robert.
Mm-mm. He either knows something we don't, or he's screwing her.
Who wouldn't?
Okay, page 24.
We would like to call to the stand Caroline Trifthauser.
Objection. She's not included in discovery.
Your Lordship, a reluctant witness.
I'll allow it.
This way.
Do you swear that the evidence you shall give touching the matter in question before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Miss Trifthauser, what is your occupation?
I worked in the line at General Motors, but right now I'm out of work.
And where do you live?
Today I'm staying at the Mission downtown.
What is your relationship with Jane Clare?
Eleanor is my daughter. She always dreamed she'd grow up and marry a millionaire.
And when was the last time you spoke to your daughter?
The last time I saw Ellie, she was in high school. We was poor. I had to leave her in a foster home. I think she hated me for it.
Thank you for coming down.
Mr. Garfield.
Your Lordship, since this is a reluctant witness, I'd like some time to consult with my client.
Recess until 10 tomorrow morning.
Thank you.